Singapore. Our CPF, we're talking all about the schemes and the things you absolutely need to know as we answer your questions as well. I've got my mailbag with me and I will pick 5 questions out and put them to my guest today. Bu Cheng Tat is manager from the Retirement Savings Department at the CPF board. My 27-year-old friend from the CPF board is here with the figures and the numbers that we need to know at the tips of his fingers. Cheng Tat, how are you this morning?
Hi, Michelle. I'm good. Thanks for having me. Happy to be able to share a little bit about CPF with our listeners today.
Yes, I'm very excited. We're going to go straight to the mailbag because people have been sending us questions in anticipation of you being able to get into the nitty-gritty. So first question, I am 50. That's my starting point. This is from the listener, all right? What can I do to aim for 1 million in my CPF? Take it away.
Yeah, great question. I think a lot of us wants to be millionaire, myself included. But I think the truth is that everyone's financial situation and their circumstances are different. So rather than focusing on how to get the $1 million, I would want listeners to shift their thinking to rather envision what kind of retirement lifestyle that they want. And the retirement lifestyle actually differs from individual. For instances, you might need $3,000 per month to retire, to lead your dream retirement, right? But someone who is, same age as you, maybe they only need $2,000. And why is that so? Because everyone's lifestyle needs is different, and it doesn't mean you have to, lead a luxurious life in order for you to retire happy.
I think most people want money as much as humanly possible. Even though we know there is a tenuous link between money and happiness. But can you use your CPF if you have such a short runway, 50 to 55, to really grow your savings to $1 million? I suppose it would depend on what your starting point is.
Correct.
But there are some schemes and top-ups that are interesting that we need to know about, right?
Yes, definitely. I would like to touch on some ways listeners can take to increase their CPF balances over time. So one such way is to make cash top-ups to your special retirement account. And that way, if you are below 55, you earn up to 5% interest. And if you are above 55, you earn up to 6% interest. And by topping up that money early into your CPF, you allow that money to compound for a longer period of time. And that can increase your CPF balances quite significantly. And another method that I will urge listeners to consider is that if they do not have any immediate needs for monies in their ordinary account, they can consider transferring some of that to their special retirement account that earns a higher interest rate. But of course, I want the listeners to take note that the top-ups and transfers are non-reversible. So make sure you consider your financial situation carefully before deciding to do so.
Okay, so that's how you can make the most of your money with the CPF.
Yes.
If you're 55, you can make cash top-ups to your SA. That'll give you 5% interest. Or your RA, if you're over 55, that'll give you 6% interest.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and then consider moving money from your OA to your SA or RA if you don't have immediate needs, because that's where the highest interest rates are, but it's a one-way transfer.
That's right.
Got it. Next question, let's go to the mailbag. How much can I withdraw from my CPF if I'm 55 and I've set aside my full retirement sum? So let's backtrack a little. The full retirement sum for this year, I understand, if you're turning 55 this year, that's $213,000. So how much can I withdraw? Say I have more than that.
So the full retirement sum this year is actually $220,400. It has increased from 1st Jan this year.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have set aside full retirement sum, which can be done either fully in cash or a mixture of cash and property, you can then withdraw your CPF savings from your ordinary account, any amount that you want. And on top of that, when you turn 65 years old, you can generally also withdraw up to 20% of your RA savings, excluding top-ups or transfers and government grants that you've received. And of course, you don't have to rush to make that withdrawal once you turn 55, because we actually encourage members to leave that money in their ordinary account to continue benefiting from that 2.5% and only withdraw that money when the needs arise.
Okay, so you do have choice.
Yes.
At that point in time, you've reached a full retirement sum. You have excess over that. You can withdraw as much as you want.
As much as you want, yes.
But is it in drips and drabs, a certain amount every day, or could you get the full sum?
You can get the full sum actually. There's no like limitation on how much you can withdraw.
Every day. Oh,
Yeah.
see, that's another CPF myth. All right. So let's say this person has turned 55 but not set aside their full retirement sum. How much can they then withdraw?
So, for example, if you have not set aside your full retirement sum, you can still withdraw, but up to $5,000 from your ordinary account. And for the non-withdrawable amount, they may be transferred to your retirement account to make up that full retirement sum.
Sorry, you got to backtrack there.
Yep.
Lost me a little bit with that last line.
Yeah, so maybe let me give you an example.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, let's say I have $100,000 this year. Right? I'm turning 55.
Yep.
Just hypothetical, I'm not near 55
You're
yet.
27. We told
Yes,
everybody, don't
correct.
worry.
So, and I have $11,000 in my ordinary account. So I have not met that full retirement sum, right? So I can withdraw from the $11,000, I can withdraw $5,000, while the $6,000 I cannot withdraw. It will be transferred to my retirement account to make up that full retirement sum.
I see. So if you haven't met your full retirement sum, $5,000, everything above that moves to your RA.
Yes, correct.
Got it. Thank you, listeners, for sending through your questions, and we encourage you to keep texting at 88550893, not for this show, but for future shows, because we've got a bag full of questions to get through today with Bu Cheng Tat, manager from the Retirement Savings Department at CPF Board. So here's another one that we actually covered. Would I be able to withdraw all my CPF savings in full as a lump sum?
As a lump sum. So that depends on whether you have a private annuity plan outside that can give you the same payouts or even higher payouts than the CPF life system. So if you have that plan on your own, you can actually apply to be exempted from CPF life, and you can then withdraw all your retirement savings. If not, you can withdraw part of your savings, right? So what do I mean by this? So maybe let me give you another example. Let's say I'm turning 55. I got $300,000 in my ordinary and special account, combined balances, right? So what happens when I turn 55? So $220,400 will be transferred to my retirement account, which will form the CPF life premiums.
Yep.
And this will be streamed out to me as monthly payouts when I reach the age of 65 for my retirement needs. So what happens with the remaining approximately $80,000, right? You actually remain in my ordinary account. And like I mentioned before, you are free to withdraw this money anytime or any amount you want. Yes.
Okay, got it. Here is another question that just came through yesterday, actually. We were looking at it, so thanks for taking it today. How are CPF interest rates determined? Under what circumstances can they change?
I think that's a very relevant question, especially in today's falling interest rate environment. I think listeners are very curious on how CPF rates are determined. So CPF rates are carefully formulated to provide members with reasonable returns at zero risk, right? So the rates are actually pegged to financial instruments of similar duration or similar risk profile and are reviewed on a quarterly basis. Yeah, so what happens when the peg rates, right, the interest rates go above CPF rates? CPF savings will correspondingly earn higher interest rates in that kind of environment. But of course, the question is what happens when rates come down, right? CPF will continue to pay the legislated minimum interest rate of 2.5%. So this actually gives members that peace of mind that your CPF is protected against that downside risk. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So even when the market performs poorly, you can rely on that 2.5%.
Yes, correct.
Bu Cheng Tat is the manager from the Retirement Savings Department at CPF board. We're going to address some changes because every time there's a change with a CPF rule or something comes up new in terms of policy, people wonder, how does that apply to me? So these are some questions for you that have come our way. With the SA now closed for those above 55, where can we put our spare cash if we still want to earn that 4% interest?
Yes, so the special account closes after you turn 55, right?
Yeah.
But the retirement account is then created. Yes, and the retirement account earns you up to 6% interest rate. So you can still make that top up to your retirement account up to the enhanced retirement sum, which is 2 times the full retirement sum. And that sum actually increases every year. So you can, continue to make that top up year on year basis.
Okay. Is there a difference between what you'd be able to take out of the RA versus the SA? But the SA no longer exists, so there's not
Yes.
an option. When you put your money in the RA, are you free to get your hands on it when you want to?
When you put your money into the RA, at age 65, you can, like I mentioned before, you can withdraw up to 20% of that RA savings, but you'll exclude that top-ups or that you made. And apart from that, you can't withdraw in lump sum, but rather it provides you with a stream of payouts during retirement. So, for instances, this year the enhanced retirement sum is approximately 440,000.
Yep.
And if you were to top up to that maximum amount, you are looking at up to $3,400 of monthly payouts in your retirement years. And that's quite significant.
Yeah, it is quite significant. We're talking about CPF, maybe the most important pot of money that we have, a wonderful safety net for many Singaporeans. With Boo Cheng Tat, manager from the Retirement Savings Department, CPF Board. And we're talking about some of the policy changes and what this means for us. So let's talk about the salary ceiling, now at $8,000. How does this change maybe the retirement outlook over the next couple of years?
So the increase in the wage ceiling is to keep up with the rising wages in Singapore and to ensure that the CPF system remains relevant to cover most of the members' retirement needs, right? So what this means is that you'll get higher contributions when you're working from both yourself as well as your employer. And over a longer period of time, right, you get that money to compound. Make your money work harder, and you'll translate to, of course, a higher CPF life payouts when you retire. Yep.
So more of your money is going to be hived away in the CPF up to the ceiling of $8,000.
Yes, you'll be set aside in your CPF
Right.
to benefit from that risk-free interest rate.
Right. Just thinking in terms of disposable cash, what that would mean for the individual. But long term, this means the possibility of greater payouts
Yes.
should you opt for CPF Life,
Should you opt for CPF life?
right? Should you want CPF Life to work for you. All right, next, besides cash top-ups, how can we grow our CPF savings internally? Can you talk about this movement from OA to RA and maybe who should not do this?
So you can actually have the flexibility to move some funds from your OA to your RA or SA, right, any point of time. And that will allow you to benefit from the higher interest rates. And I think who should not do this? You should carefully consider, the liquidity needs that you have. Maybe let's say you are looking to purchase your first BTO,
Yeah.
right? And you want to use that money in the ordinary account to fund part of that purchase. So then maybe you should consider carefully before wanting to transfer part of that savings to your SA or RA. Yep.
Maybe. For those using their retirement sum topping up scheme. So this is a scheme, I'm not sure many people know about it, RSTU it's called, and they want to grow their savings. Are there tax limits for this top up, either for my account or for my loved one's account? And this is the retirement sum topping up scheme.
Yeah, so for this scheme, you can, choose to top up to yourself, right? And you get up to $8,000 tax relief. And even better if you top up to your loved ones.
Where does this top up go to?
It goes to, so for below 55,
Yeah.
you go to your special account. For above 55, you go to your retirement account.
Okay.
And if you top up to your loved ones,
Yep.
you get another $8,000 of tax relief. So total $16,000.
Right.
Yeah.
For yourself and for your loved
Loved
ones.
ones, yes.
And it doesn't matter which you do first, it's just 16,000
Yes,
in terms
correct.
of
Doesn't
tax
matter.
relief. Okay, that's fantastic. Next question. Thank you all so much for sending your questions through, and you can still do so, 885508893, or we're live on LinkedIn and Facebook as well, so you can send questions there. For those who do not have regular employer contributions, which scheme in the CPF should be their top priority to think through?
So you're referring to those that maybe they're self-employed, right?
Correct, yeah.
Correct. So for the members of this profile, I will encourage them to make voluntary contributions to their 3 accounts. So their OA, their SA, and their MediSave, right? They can then put money into their CPF account and allow that money to compound over a longer period of time. And it kind of built for a safety net for them in the future, because it will result in higher CPF savings, which gives them monthly payouts during
Okay.
their retirement years.
So, say you're a freelancer, you can choose which of these to top up.
Yes, you can choose which of the schemes you want to top up.
So, remind us of the interest rates again for each.
So for ordinary account, you earn 2.5%. The special retirement account and the MediSave account, you earn the base interest rates of 4%. Yeah, and if you're below 55, you can get up to 5%, and above 55, up to 6%.
Wonderful. All right, we've reached the question that we've been discussing here on this show for quite a bit, actually. There's a lot of interest in this still, but also a lot of uncertainty as to what CPF Life is all about. So, in a nutshell, is this a paycheck for life?
Yes, it's a paycheck for life. CPF Life is actually a national annuity scheme. So what it does is it protects you against the longevity risk. So for like you and I, we can't decide how long we want to live. We can't decide, maybe I want to live until 80 years old. But in fact, let's say I outlive my savings, right?
Yep.
And that's really a situation that you do not want to find yourself in. So CPF Life actually hedge against that risk by providing you lifetime payouts as long as you live. So there are 3 plans in CPF Life. There's the basic, the standard, and the escalating plan. So how to choose that plan? There's no perfect plan. It depends on how willingly you want to adjust your lifestyle to cope with rising prices over time. Yep.
And remind us again what the difference is in those plans. It's the amount that you set aside for the premiums for CPF
Correct,
Life
correct.
by the time you are 55.
You can start choosing your CPF Life plan at age 65.
At age 65.
Yes.
So you don't have to make your mind up at 55.
No.
Okay. And the ones to think through, standard, escalating, basic. To help listeners out, is there a calculator that they can use, no matter what age they are, to help them decide, okay, which plan would I use and how much might I get by the time I'm 65?
Yeah, so when we think about planning for retirement, it can sound a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
But of course, we have some tools on our website to help members out. So, for example, we have the retirement payout planner. You can look for it in our CPF website.
Okay.
And from there, you can actually, based on the current savings that you have and also the monthly wage that you put into the planner, right? You can then project the payouts that you will receive. And on top of that, you can also simulate cash top-ups or CPF transfers.
Oh, I didn't know you could simulate that.
And you can see how much increase in the payout over time.
That's great. That's very motivating when you can do those sorts of simulations. All right, we're going to get to the nuts and bolts of some schemes because I think not many people would know the difference between MRSS and MMSS. I'm tending towards MMSS because it's got my name all over it, but I wonder if you can help us understand what this dollar-for-dollar matching scheme works. Which one is it?
So there's 2 matching schemes
Okay.
in 2026. So there's the Match Retirement Savings Scheme, MRSS for short,
Okay.
and the Match MediSave Scheme, MMSS.
So they're both dollar-for-dollar matching
Correct.
schemes.
So they both operate in a similar way, I would say, but they serve different purposes. So for the MRSS, it's actually focused on topping up to your retirement account or your special account for retirement needs. And the government actually matches up to $2,000, dollar for dollar, for every top-ups, every cash top-ups that you receive. Whereas for the MediSave scheme, the Match MediSave scheme, you'll be required to top up to your MediSave account, and the government matches up to $1,000.
So who can do this dollar for dollar top up for the MRSS, which is the retirement
for MRSS, right? This year we actually expanded the scheme to persons with disabilities of all ages.
Okay.
Correct. So eligible members, you don't have to apply for anything. You'll be informed by us via email or letter.
I see.
And then anyone can make that cash top up for you, and the government will then provide that dollar for dollar matching grant.
Anyone can do it for you. So can you do it for your loved ones? Because whenever we hear
Yes.
matching top ups, we think this is free money. I want to do this for my mom and my dad.
Yes, it's actually quite a good deal.
Yeah.
If you find out that your parents or your siblings are eligible for that scheme, you can then make that cash top up for them, and it's already dollar for dollar. And you don't have to top up $2,000. You can also top up any amount, maybe $10. You get the matching grant of $10.
So who's eligible? I mean, what are the requirements for eligibility?
Okay, so for the eligibility criteria, for members, there's two groups for members. One is those aged above 55, and the other is the below 55 verified persons with disabilities. And you have to meet other means testing criteria, so such as you cannot own more than two property. You cannot own more than one property, and your average monthly income must be less than $4,000.
I see.
And your CPF balances also have to be below the prevailing basic retirement sum.
So it's to help a certain strata of society.
Correct. So I think when we think about retirement, some members might feel that, they are being left behind.
Right,
And
yeah.
we have these schemes to support members to build up their retirement savings.
Really wonderful. So we've covered MRSS. Let's look at MMSS. This is new for 2026?
Yes, so it's new, just started 1st Jan this year.
And this is also for seniors in particular. Tell us about the scheme.
So that scheme, it runs as a pilot scheme for now. So it's only for members aged 55 to 70. Yep, and it operates similar to the MRSS. The other means testing criteria are the same, except for that your MediSave balances must be half of the basic healthcare sum to be eligible. Yep.
Got it. And as you said, for these schemes, you will be invited, or CPF board will reach out to you to let you
Correct.
know that you are eligible.
Yes.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything. Yep.
Fantastic. So let's talk about a particular age group, those in their 40s, which many of our listeners are. How should they think about splitting their cash between their own retirement savings and perhaps their parents in terms of matching grants?
Yeah, so I think listeners need to really look at their own financial situation before thinking whether to top up to their parents or themselves, right? But of course, we'll encourage to top up to their loved ones if they are eligible for the matching grant scheme, because they can really benefit quite a lot from the dollar for dollar matching grant. Yep. And on top of that, for top ups to MRSS eligible members, they are not eligible for tax relief.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so we have to consider a little bit about that aspect. So
Yeah. Okay, before we let you go, this has been terrific, by the way. Thank you for being so open with all our questions. And if we headed down to the CPF, the CPF board, and we had questions on retirement, are there lots of people in the retirement savings department we could talk to?
we encourage members to visit the service center.
Service
because
center, okay.
customer service executives are well trained to handle the enquiries.
Fantastic.
And I think on top of that, if members want to find out more about planning for retirement, they can try out this tool that we have called Plan with CPF.
That's different from the retirement savings plan?
So the Plan with CPF is a one-stop portal, right, that have all the curated planners, as well as educational resources for you to plan for retirement.
What's the website?
So for this, you can go to the CPF cpf.gov.sg, and from there you can look for that
Plan with CPF.
Yes.
Okay, we will certainly do that. And we encourage listeners to keep tuning in because for the next couple of months, we're going to have CPF Board live on our show to answer your questions, listeners, directly. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for
my
coming
pleasure
by.
to be here.
Bu Cheng Tat is manager from the Retirement Savings Department at the CPF Board. Hey, it's time for the news.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance.